The night the $500,000 gate trapped the entire neighborhood, Karen was smiling, not just smiling, smirking. 3 months earlier, she had stood in the clubhouse, pearls tight around her neck, navy blazer sharp as a blade, and announced, "This community deserves prestige, security, exclusivity." What she didn't say? The contractor was her cousin. What she didn't say? There was a consulting fee quietly wired to an LLC with her initials on it. Residents voted no. Karen overruled them. Board authority, she snapped. Construction began anyway. $500,000 later, the monstrosity stood at the entrance. Towering black iron, biometric scanners, motion sensors, license plate readers, and a smug gold-plated HOA emblem bolted at the center like a crown. Karen called it the future. Residents called it the Great Wall of Ego. Then came the night everything changed. A thunderstorm rolled in, lightning cracked, power flickered, and the $500,000 gate slammed shut. Cars lined up, keypads blinked error codes, biometric scanners froze. Residents were trapped inside. And worse, a mother trying to get her asthmatic son to urgent care couldn't get out. Phones lit up, neighbors pounded on steel bars, and security non-existent because Karen had cut that budget to offset expenses. Inside her house, Karen refreshed the HOA app, watching complaints pour in, and typed one cold response, system operating as designed. But what she didn't know, someone in that trap line of cars had already started recording. By 9:47 p.m., the neighborhood looked like a disaster zone. 27 cars, engines idling, parents arguing, kids crying, rain slamming against windshields while the luxury biometric security system flashed the same mocking red message. Access denied. System lockdown. The mother with the asthmatic child was now screaming. Someone called 911. The fire department arrived, and that's when the humiliation began. Because the $500,000 gate, it wouldn't open for emergency override either. Firefighters tried the manual release panel. Shut. They tried the digital override, password protected. They asked who had master access. Every resident said the same name. Karen. She finally arrived. Hair perfect, umbrella held high like royalty surveying peasants. "It's a temporary software glitch," she said, voice clipped. "Everyone needs to calm down." Calm down? A firefighter stepped toward her. "Ma'am, this gate is obstructing emergency services." Karen crossed her arms. "You'll have to submit a formal access request through the HOA portal." The silence that followed was nuclear. And then, one resident stepped forward holding up a phone. "Funny," he said, "because according to this contract, emergency override was supposed to be standard." He turned the screen toward the crowd. The price breakdown showed $500,000, but the equipment listed didn't match what was installed. Murmurs spread, rain poured harder. Karen's jaw tightened. What she didn't realize, that video was already live. If you're watching this and you've ever dealt with a power-hungry HOA, hit like, share this video, and subscribe. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? By morning, the video had 38,000 views. By noon, it had a hashtag. By evening, Karen had turned off comments on the HOA page. But it was too late because the man holding the phone the night before, he wasn't just another resident. He was a forensic accountant, quiet, observant, the kind of neighbor Karen had dismissed as uninvolved. He hadn't spoken at meetings, he hadn't argued during the vote, he had simply requested documents. And Karen, smug and overconfident, had sent them. Every invoice, every payment authorization, every vendor contract. What she didn't know, he ran numbers for a living, and the math wasn't just wrong, it was greedy. The contract listed biometric scanners from a premium European manufacturer, but the installed system, off-brand imports worth a fraction of the cost. The steel gate was billed as reinforced security-grade alloy. It was decorative iron. The emergency override integration? Never purchased. And then came the twist. A $62,000 consulting fee paid to an LLC formed 3 weeks before the contract approval. Registered agent? Karen's home address. The accountant didn't go to social media. He went somewhere much worse. He requested a special emergency HOA meeting, open to all residents, financial transparency required by bylaws. Karen thought she was walking into a complaint session. She had no idea she was walking into her own audit. And this time, she wouldn't control the microphone. Karen walked into the emergency meeting like she always did. Chin lifted, pearls centered, smile rehearsed. She expected complaints. She expected drama. She did not expect a projector screen. The forensic accountant stood quietly at the front of the clubhouse. No theatrics, no yelling, just slides. The first slide, $500,000 gate breakdown. The second slide, side-by-side comparison. What residents were billed versus by what was installed. Gasps filled the room. Karen shifted in her seat. The third slide hit harder. Consulting fee, $62,000. And beneath it, public business registry records, her LLC, her address, her signature. The room turned. Not angry, disgusted. One board member tried to interrupt. The accountant calmly handed out printed copies of the bylaws highlighting fiduciary duty violations. Another resident stood up. Did you trap us in our own neighborhood to pay yourself? Karen's composure cracked. It was standard compensation. Standard theft? Someone shouted. Then came the final blow. A firefighter stepped forward, the same one from that stormy night. He confirmed in front of everyone that the gate violated emergency access codes. Silence. Motion to remove the HOA president. Seconded instantly. Unanimous vote. Karen's empire collapsed in under 12 minutes. By the end of the night, residents voted to commission a full independent audit. The $500,000 gate, scheduled for removal. The gold HOA emblem was the first thing taken down. If this story opened your eyes, like, share, and subscribe, and tell us in the comments, where are you watching from?